This is KEXP, where the music matters. My name is Greg Vandy. In the Roadhouse, very pleased to welcome Margo Cilker to KEXP.
It takes two to tie up a line, only sometimes you can get a good fire to burn through the night if the wind's right. I've been looking at the answers, trying to find the in-between. I've been watching it all from this porch, unraveling. When you get lonely, I will remember how it hurt me when I was a beggar for your get a good feel for where you belong, only sometimes get a good line to hold up your song if the rhyme's right. I've been looking at the edges, trying to find the in-between. It shows on your face when my words mean nothing. When you get lonely, I will remember how it hurt me when I was a beggar for your It takes two to tie up a line, only sometimes.
Margo Cilker, KEXP, in studio. Great to have you.
Thank you. It's so good to be here. It's so great to play in here and look at my band and see everybody, and it's fun to play in a circle with the full band. I always change into my cowgirl boots, and then my mics are always a little bit too short. Then I get out there, and it's like, you know. This one's called Tehachapi. Ready? I'm ready. Okay. Wasn't much of a warning. He disappeared one morning. Put his mattress up on the back of a pickup truck. And I'd been working, my shoulders were hurting. I've been learning how to turn my muscle into something. Will you think of me? Will you think of me on your way back to Tehachapi? In Sonoma County, well, the grass gets feisty. It'll put a tear in your eye, make your nose run like it was wanted. You worked on the water, I was out in the pasture, and the fog rolling into Petaluma at night brought those two together. Will you think of me? Will you think of me on your way back to Tehachapi? Will I cross your mind down 99? Will you think of me on your way back to Tehachapi? Told you I was willing, but you heard struggling. Tell me, how does a girl with a family like yours end up so desperate? Well, it's these little feet that keep me going, and the day that I quit trying is the day my heart stops growing. Will you think of me? Will you think of me on your way back to Tehachapi? Will I cross your mind when you're gunning down I-5? Will you think of me on your way back to Tehachapi? Yeah, baby, will you think of me on your way back to Tehachapi? Ready? Okay. 2, 3, 4. I get up 8 a.m., press the coffee down again. I still leave half just in case, and I pour it out the next day. Kitchen table, my own home. Sometimes a woman's dream is to be alone. Night falls, I'm grateful. What do I do with the middle between the coffee and the wine? Part of the day when my heart says I won't do it this time. I
KEXP. My name's Greg Vandy, host of the Roadhouse Show, and it's great to have Margo Cilker and band in studio. Margo,
Yes.
Finally we're here together.
We've made it.
Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, you're so welcome. Thank you so much for having us. It's a dream of ours. So
It sounds great in this room.
it does. It sounds great. It's sparkly.
Yeah, and that piano sounds really, really nice. That's Jenny Conlee on piano, Jeremy Ferrara on guitar, Reb Young on bass, and Sera Cahoone back there on drums.
Your old friend.
Yeah, me and Sera go way back. So, Margo, congratulations. You're ascending. I think everyone can tell. And this is your second album, Valley of Heart's Delight. It's on Fluff and Gravy Records, and it's on a lot of
Yeah.
top 10 lists of the year this year. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. It's great to wrap it up this way, and it's just a treat to all play together.
Yeah, and this is your studio band.
It's a mix. Yeah.
Yeah, you often have a road band for people who can get out, and then you have the band you made the record with here locally, and a lot of local people in the room.
Yes. Well, Jeremy is he's one of the road dogs, so he's he's been out on the road with me. I don't know how many dates we did this year, but it felt like a lot, and we covered some ground for sure.
Yeah.
And but yes, it is kind of a great mashup of the studio players like Reb and Sera and Jenny all coming together. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And the record before this one was equally great, but not everyone knew who you were then, right? It was Poho Real.
Yeah.
Was the name of the album, 2021. Also one of my top 10 records of that year as well. And I feel like the growth, just your audience between the first record and the second record has been significant. I think people are beginning to, catch on.
Yeah, it certainly feels that way. But when I think about like the growth, I guess there's something that's sweet to see is just the people that come back to my shows again and again, and it's fun to have new music to put out for some of those dedicated fans, they're the ones that are there every time I play. And that's really sweet to see that because it's kind of proof that what you're doing is working and, just those small connections and changing one person's life is more important than like entertaining a million people.
Yeah.
So
I guess we should go over those songs. That last one was called With the Middle. It's on the latest record. And the Tehachapi was kind of the hit song off of Poho Real. And then Lowland Trail, which I think was the first single on this new record,
yeah,
Valley
that
of Heart's
was the
Delight.
the lead single. It's kind of
Yeah,
lead everybody up the hill.
it's a good one. And then Beggar for Your Love was the first song also off of the new album. And it
Yeah.
says a lot that the new album is so good. Like, I could have put 3 more songs on it that I love from this new album on there.
Oh, thanks, Greg.
Yeah, been playing it a lot. And I guess we should mention that Sera Cahoone, your drummer, is also the producer of the first 2 records. And I really want to talk about, how Sera came into your life as producer and as a friend and how that all go down. There's a story there. I know there's a story there.
I mean, I just kind of stumbled. Honestly, like, I knew who she was in the back of my mind, but I wasn't living in the Northwest, and I don't know. I'd never met her or seen her at a show or anything, but I just found a YouTube video of her performing, and it was actually like, I think, were you on the Space Needle?
Maybe.
It's like you're playing electric guitar and singing Up to Me.
Oh, I was here, and when you opened up the new gathering space, actually.
Oh.
Yeah, that's when I was playing. That's the only time I've done that, and I was like, why did I play electric guitar? That was hard.
Well, it worked on me because
Okay, good.
I don't know. I really, her spirit really comes through her music, and then like that was one thing I really was drawn to was just how her personality comes through her work, and then also just hearing her arrangements, is like, man, I love the drums on this record, and then come to find out she played drums on her record. So then at that point it was like a no-brainer.
Yeah, and we had a mutual friend, Bart, and he was like, hey, I think this person wants you to produce them, and I was like, okay, and then we first had a conversation on the phone, and I was like, she's hilarious. She's like my little sister or something. And we just like connected. So that's a big thing.
Yeah, over the phone.
And then like her music, I just instantly got it. Like the way she plays, like her voice. I was like, let's do this. And then I found Rebecca to help me kind of figure out the rhythm because she wanted me to play bass too, or drums. So it's just the sweetest story. Like I just feel like I've known Margo my whole life, and it's just really sweet.
Yeah,
So,
you mentioned Bart Butterwig because I was going to go to him because I believe at the time before back in 2020, you were living in Enterprise, Oregon.
I was, yeah.
And Bart has a little thing going on there, a studio and recording at the OK Hotel or the OK Theater. Is
The
what I
OK
mean, the OK
Theater,
Theater.
yeah.
And he's been recording there so much, and there's so many people going to Bart in Enterprise. And so I'm curious as to why you just didn't stay in Enterprise with Bart and do that with him.
Yeah, I mean it's very simple to that end. I mean, Enterprise is also like a destination recording studio. Like the OK is a destination, and if you're living in Enterprise, it's not a destination anymore. So I wanted to go to the big city, so we went to Vancouver.
Yeah. So is that where you recorded I was going to ask where you did record the records here
In Vancouver, Washington.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, at Bocce.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. And John Morgan Askew is our engineer, and he mixed the records. Yeah.
Nice. They sound great. Really good.
Thank you. And Jenny, of course. I just have to say,
Jenny.
Bringing Jenny in for the studio, like her piano parts, organ, accordion. I mean,
All of it.
I don't know. It's such a treat to play with her.
People may know Jenny from the band Decemberists, I believe.
Yeah.
It's true.
Margo, let's talk about lifestyle and your whole thing. It's so interesting to me. I was reading a bunch about you, and we've known each other for quite a bit. But
Yeah.
you've kind of moved around a lot, and you're currently in Goldendale, Washington.
yeah.
That was, I think, after you were living in Enterprise, Oregon,
Yeah.
and
yeah.
you live on a sheep farm.
We live on a sheep ranch right now, which is great. And we have someone watching our animals while we're gone. And when I get home, I'm going to go home today, and then I'll tap in and feed her animals because she's going to be coming to the city to get off the ranch for a while. So, I mean, that's a really nice symbiosis that happens. And there's a lot of that, of just helping your neighbor. But yeah, I did travel around a lot before I decided to settle down. I really was itinerant. And I'd go home to my parents' house in the Bay Area and kind of regroup, and and then I'd leave again for 3 months and live out of my van. And I was Montana, South Carolina, just kind of bopping all around and just kind of chasing the muse.
Right, and I wanted to get into that. You've been kind of to a lot of places. You grew up in Santa Clara, Silicon Valley sort of area. You started really young playing music and trying to, sort of perform in that environment, but then you said, enough of this place, I want to go somewhere far away, right?
Yeah.
And you went to Spain.
I did. I ended up going to Spain, and I was so excited. Well, I ended up in the Basque Country, which is kind of off the beaten trail. Off the beaten track or whatever is yonder. I didn't know that what I would find, but by the time, so I moved to Bilbao, and within 3 weeks, I joined a neighborhood band, and they were playing Creedence Clearwater Revival songs, and Neil Young, Bob Dylan. It was just such an easy, I was like, I know these songs, I know the chords, and so they let me join their band, and then I joined another band, and then I joined another band, and the venues I was playing went from corner cafes, and then we were playing venues, and then something really special was the Lucinda Williams tribute band that I joined called the Drunken Angels. And that was so formative. And that was my first big gig was this I think it's probably a 300 cap room or something in Bilbao, and we were rehearsing for months beforehand, and the whole repertoire you have to learn. You're learning someone else's songs, and you can't really invent the lyrics when it's when you're paying tribute to someone. And so, yeah, it was lots of practice, and I just learned so much, playing with these bands, because these guys over there, they're so sweet. They're all dads, and it was just, a really sweet band to play in. And I just learned a lot. I learned so much. And
Bilbao Precipitation was the first song I ever heard you do. It's just kind of before these albums, you had the song out there, and I think the thing was wow, that voice, that person has a voice, in that song, and I imagine you wrote that song there.
I sure did.
Or did you write it when you came back thinking about that place?
No, that one came from sitting in a rainy little room in Bilbao. And I remember in those days, I was teaching English lessons, teaching guitar lessons, and I was so fortunate to be able to do that, just spend, I think it was 9 months I was over there. After I'd spent 9 months there before, studying, I moved back and was just kind of gigging, and
I just had this little apartment, and I would watch like Neil Young Unplugged on YouTube, that beautiful video session. Yeah. And like, so like every time I hear the song Unknown Legend, it just like kills me, the nostalgia of like being in this little tiny apartment room and just being so in love with music and so just obsessed, in this way that like in the way that like only a hungry young artist can really feel sometimes. And I don't know, actually, I shouldn't say that. But for me, that was my experience. Like that fire, it hasn't died, but it's kind of changed routes, a little bit. Just that intensity, And I mean, anyone, Jeremy's been there through the years of touring and everything. And Forrest, too, as a songwriter, he understands that. Just the intensity.
Mm-hmm. So your songwriting is really great. I think that's one of the things that I hear most from fans and from people I know. It's like, not only is it the voice and the band and sort of, I guess, the organic, natural feel of the music, but the songs are great.
I think your subconscious knows what songs should be sung more than your brain would know. I don't know, maybe the heart knows better than the brain what songs will be magic and what songs will help others and what songs, it's kind of this deeper wisdom than surface level, Mm-hmm. That's at least how I approach it. And then maybe I use the format that I borrow from country music, where you have like a rhyme scheme and it's metered, and I do love that. I love a metered, like the way I love poetry that rhymes. I like bringing that into song because it's just like it gets the job done, There's like a start and a finish, and you fit the puzzle pieces together. But yeah, I try to let my heart do all the talking.
Well, I feel like we could talk for hours. I feel like we kind of should all move to the other room and sit down and on some couches and just discuss this. It seems much more natural than this. But it was, I'm a big fan, and I think you got everything going for you. You're a real natural performer, songwriter, and people love you when they see you on stage. And I think there's going to be a lot of good things ahead for you and the band.
Well, I work with the right people.
Yeah.
You're the best, Margo.
Well, Margo Cilker, thank you so much for coming in to KEXP today, and we'll see you down the road.
Thanks, Greg. It's our pleasure.
My name's Greg Vandy. This is KEXP.
Discover new music at listener-powered KEXP.org.